All right, guys, we are doing lesson 5 today on page 583. We are factoring trinomials. So I'm going to just start with the first example, and when we talk in person, we can go over more specifics. So your first example is x squared plus 3x plus 2. When we're done factoring this, it's going to look like those binomials in lesson 3 that we were multiplying. So we're factoring this. So the first thing you want to do is look at the last term and list the factors. Okay, so the factors for 2 are 1 and 2. All right, so we have that. Then go over here and put parentheses first, because it's going to look like those problems in lesson 2. So I want to take my factors of 2, and since there's only one set, this one's fairly easy. I'm going to put 2 here or 1 here. It doesn't matter which spot you start. And those factors have to equal 3 somehow, whether we're going to add them, whether they're positive or negative. Since this problem is positive, then both of our binomials here are going to be positive. So these factors have to add to 3, which is the middle term number, okay? So the coefficient there. Then we know that if we factor out the x squared, we can put this here and here. And because they're both positive, we can do that. If we wanted to check our work and we did x times x, I would get x squared. If I did x times 2, I would get 2x. 1 times x, 1x. And 1 times 2 is 2. So when I simplify that, I'm going to get back to my original problem. And that's factoring trinomials. I'm going to set this up a little bit different than the book does, but you could still follow what the book does as far as putting a table. But I like just to make a small list over here instead of making that chart. Saves a little bit of time. All right, so we'll do some more. We have a squared plus 7a plus 10. Okay, we're starting out easy. We'll get some harder ones here in a second. Look at the last term, just like follow these rules up here. What are the factors for this number 10? 10 and 1 make 10, and 5 and 2 multiply to 10. So what set of numbers will give me 7, whether I'm adding them or subtracting them? 5 and 2. So again, go ahead and put your parentheses in place, because you're going to need them anyway, so might as well just put them down. Your 5 and 2 are going to be the last term inside each parentheses. Since it's addition, both of yours are going to be addition. And then you factor out your a squared. And that's your answer. So this is what I'm looking for to be circled. All right, number 3, we have t squared plus 9t plus 14. That's my timer for dinner going off. Okay, so go ahead and list the factors of 14 over here. Okay, so while I'm doing that, you think about which set of numbers which set of factors will give me 9? Yes, so you've already put your parentheses down, right? Put your 7 and your 2, separate your t's, and then it's both addition there. Okay, when we have addition across the board like that, it does make our life a little bit easier. We don't have to think too much about it. The next examples will have something other than addition. All right, so your next example, x squared minus 4x plus 3, x minus 3 Oh, goodness, I'm winning. Goodness. Okay, sorry, guys. It's been a long day. All right, so I'm going to factor this the same way. I still want to list my factors for 3, which are 1 and 3. Okay, so again, that's easy. There's only one set of factors. So I'm going to put 3 here and 1 here. And this time, I want these numbers, they need to equal this 4, but it's got to be a negative 4. So I've got to figure out, and then when I multiply them together, these two numbers, it's got to give me a positive 3. So if I've got a negative 4, that means I've got to add together a negative 1 and a negative 3 to get that negative 4. We have to watch this video again to see how we did that. I took my factors. I'm adding this negative 1 and negative 3 to get this middle term, negative 4. If I take these two terms and did FOIL, a negative 1 times a negative 3 gives me a positive 3. My x, that seems to be the easy part, and that's my answer. Number 5, t squared minus 8t plus 12. Okay, so again, let's list our factors for 12. 1 and 12, 3 and 4, 6 and 2. So which set of factors will give me 8? Notice that we have a negative 8 here. Then put down your parentheses. Let's do 6 and 2 because I know that a negative 2 and a negative 6 will give me that negative 8. And then I have t. So you should be noticing a pattern of this negative positive sign compared to the first 3 problems that had both positive. Okay, so here's another one. M squared plus m minus 20. All right, list the factors of 20. 1 and 20, 2 and 10, 4 and 5. Some of you will be able to see what factors you need to use without having to list them. That's totally fine. So over here, I've got to make sure these numbers equal this middle term, which is that invisible 1. So this is going to give me 1. How is it going to give me 1? By adding those or subtracting those? So this is where you've got to be a little bit careful. Your subtraction sign is now here instead of here. So again, put your 4 and 5 into place. That's going to give me 1. It's a positive 1. So I'm going to need, in order to get a positive 1 from those two numbers, I need a negative 4 and a positive 5. Then you separate your m squared into that right location. Again, it's not going to matter if you did this, put the 5 here and the 4 here, you would still have a negative 4 and a plus 5. And then you would write in your m's here. And you still have the same problem, m plus 5, m minus 4, because a commutative property doesn't matter which way we write those two multiplication problems. I'll do one more, and then I'm going to stop this video and make a second one. If the videos are too long, then it doesn't upload. And since the internet is slammed, it is taking forever for me to get videos to you guys in all my classes. Okay, so w plus 6w minus 16. Factors of 16 are 1 and 16, 8 and 2, and 4 and 4. So what set of numbers will give me 6? 4 does. So again, oh, so sorry. I do not know why I said that. Okay, 4 and 4 will not give me 6. 2 and 8 will give me 6. So positive 6. So I know a positive 8 and a negative 2 will give me 6. And then when I multiply a negative 2 and a positive 8, I'll get that negative 16. I forgot to mention that in problem 6. So then I put my W's here, and I've got my answer. Okay, so that's the first part of your assignment. So I'm going to sign off here, and I'll attach this video, and then I'll do one more.